Filmmaking mistakes to avoid on a budget. I deal with a lot of filmmakers. I deal with a lot of different productions. Sometimes I'm on them, sometimes I'm producing, I'm shooting, whatever. And one of the things that I notice with a lot of independent films is that their script is not written for what their budget can stand. So the first thing I stress is avoid writing a script that has a bigger budget than what you have available. Or avoid trying to make a movie based on a script that has a bigger budget than what you have available. A lot of times people don't think about what goes into the script because they're just writing a script. This is one of the things I always tell people when they come up to me with a script. Whenever they're trying to pitch some idea to me like, hey, I got this idea, or hey, I got this script. I say, all right, I'll listen. 99% of the time, I already know that they're gonna tell me something that they didn't think about. They're gonna tell me something that they don't have the budget to make happen, or the resources, because sometimes you may not have the budget, but you may have the resources. So here's 3 things you have to always ask when listening to a script, reading a script, reviewing a script, hearing about a script. You have to ask yourself who, where, and how. You need to ask these questions all the time. Whenever somebody is telling you about this incredible script and you're like, well, go ahead, run down the story for me. Interrupt them and say, well, who's gonna play that? Somebody's like, oh, and then these gang members jump him. Or I had a friend of mine tell me last week or something. He was like, yeah, we're gonna get these women, and then this is gonna be the scene. They're gonna be making out, and they're gonna be having sex in the bed. I said, who's playing that role? Oh, well, we could get, who is playing that role? Who's gonna be getting butt naked, having a sex scene, a threesome with a woman and a man, and then this other person, who's doing that? And he's like, well, we're just gonna, I said, okay, I don't know anybody. If you know some people, then you get those people. Because if you don't have the people and I don't have the people, take that out of the script. Don't come over here telling me you're gonna have this, and going on, and you didn't think in your own mind how that was gonna be pulled off. So when people start talking all of this grandiose stuff, I really stop them in the middle of it. Sometimes I'll let them go through the whole script, but then I'm like, who, where, and how? Who's playing that role? Yes, you can cast for these things, so don't get me wrong, but I like to train the people around me, people in my crew, to think in a certain type of way. Because once you train yourself to think in a certain type of way, there's no situation that you can't handle. And if it's not essential to the story, then get that out of there. Simple. And that's the number one thing that you need to avoid in this independent filmmaking. Avoid making a script that is impossible for you to produce in an easy way. Because the next thing what happens is you write these scripts and then you try to do it in a low budget way. And then that is what makes your project look terrible, because you didn't think about that beforehand. So now you got to think about it after. And then when you're trying to put things together after, you're cutting too many corners and then it starts to just look ridiculous, which of course, brings up another thing, cutting corners. Now, of course, in independent filmmaking, you have to cut corners. That's just what it is, but you got to know where to cut the corners. Places you don't want to cut corners, don't cut corners on your sound. You need to have good sound. Don't cut corners with your editor. Don't cut corners with your lighting if you can. Cinematic lighting is not like natural lighting. Like the way the shadows get hit or fall off or whatever they say, the way the light wraps around the face, like those things are different when you have a gaffer on set, when you have somebody who knows how to set the tone. You see this shot right here, you got the red light in the back, you've got another light right here hit me in the face. Crazy. There's another light off to the side, and this is not even cinematic lighting, but it looks different than if I had all of this stuff off. If I just had plain regular overhead light, it would look different. And see, that's one of the major things that independent films, I guess, skip over or they forget. If you're ever watching some of the stuff that you see on these streaming channels, you can tell that the camera was good. It's like, wow, that's great. The camera. I look at some of this stuff and I'm like, well, they had a good camera. Oh, but the lighting is terrible. The lighting was off. Even me, sometimes I do projects we don't have enough money for a gaffer, so we're just like, we'll just shoot it. But when you look at the movies, the real big budgeted things, they got lights all over the place. Just because it's sunny out. I've been on set where we started at daytime. They waited until it was nighttime to then recreate the day look with gaffers. They didn't even use the actual sunlight. They recreated the sun because they could put the sun anywhere they want. They could place it any way they want. They could make it look like a 10 a.m. sun, or they can make it look like a 5 p.m. sun. And that's cinematic lighting. They control the light. So don't cut corners with your lights. Don't cut corners with your sound. Another mistake that you should avoid, and I see it all the time, is bad set design, bad props. I saw a movie recently and they had guns, and you could clearly see that these guns were plastic. They would and I was like, why did y'all do that? In my mind, I'm thinking, why would they use plastic guns?
You can't be serious.
And see, there's a slight difference. Things that you may not notice if you just don't notice. There's a different weight to plastic than there is to metal. So when a person is holding a plastic gun and they're waving it around, it's moving in a certain way that a real gun wouldn't move, because a real gun is metal. So your wrist is holding it a certain type of way. Your finger is a certain type of way. The way you're waving it around or pulling it out is a different type of way because it's made of a different type of material. Go on Amazon. You can get a metal prop gun, a metal airsoft gun, one of those guns that takes BBs. You can get a metal gun for probably like $30, $40, $50. Invest in this movie that you're doing. Get some props. Get your badges. Don't get those little plastic things from Party City. Go and research. Get you a metal badge. Don't come back with this, little toy $7 badge. Don't do that. And the props that I see in some of these movies, they go to one of these stores and they get a hat that says police and they put it on the actor and it's like, he's a police officer. Because he got a hat on that says police. You got him a t-shirt that said police on the back or FBI and he's a police officer. You gotta think. All I just say, make sure your props and your set design is cool. I've watched these movies where character's supposed to be this big time drug dealer. And he's wearing a sweatshirt and some baggy pants. And I'm like, there's nothing about him that conveys the message of big time drug dealer. He should be wearing a gold Rolex, diamond Rolex. He should be doing certain things or having certain things. And that's one of the mistakes a lot of independent movies make. Their props be terrible and their set design be terrible. Another thing you should avoid is time wasters. When you're independent and you're on set, you can easily waste time. And I'm gonna tell you some of the places. Number one is people just shooting the breeze and flapping their lips. I get it. People are all together. Some people are getting paid. Some people are getting low pay. Some people are doing this for free. But don't let people waste your time. As the director, as the producer, as the filmmaker, as the person in charge, people will waste your time on set. They'll get to telling all of these stories. They'll get to kikiing, laughing and joking, and they're eating up the time on your day. You have to keep a certain tone on set. A little joke here and there, cool. But don't have somebody on set who's a class clown and you can't even get a shot finished because he's over there goofing off, laughing and telling this story about how he was on Tyler Perry Studios. Nah, don't let these people eat up your time. Gaffer, don't let a gaffer eat up your time because they'll take forever lighting stuff too. Makeup artists, don't let the makeup artist take up all of your time. Tell a makeup artist, I need that done in 15 minutes, please. Stylist, wardrobe, I need that costume changed quickly, please. Actors, they need to know their lines. They need to get it. Or you need to figure out a way how to shoot around them. Make sure you get that scene from the back of their head so you don't see when they're messing up their lines. And then whoever your editor is, just got to slide that audio into the right place. But don't let these people on your set chop up and mess up your day. Because that also extends it, the amount of time it takes to shoot. You can't get all your scenes, you can't get all your shots. As an independent, Be aware of that. Let people know, hey, this is what we doing, ladies and gentlemen. We flying through this project. We trying to get it done. Y'all can laugh and joke later. Y'all can laugh and joke during lunch or at the end of the day when everybody's going home. Y'all can do that then. Another thing, like as an independent filmmaker, budget's not there. So you can't always afford the top and the best of everything. You got to kind of like make things work with what you got. But try to avoid too many bad actors. You may be able to get a couple good ones. You might get a couple of okay actors, but be mindful of getting too many bad actors.
I'm an actor.
You might get one or two for certain roles. I need somebody to play homeless. I need somebody to play a crackhead. I need somebody to play a girlfriend. I need some supporting actors. But try not to have your main character as an unseasoned actor or an actor who can't catch the role. So that's why it's important. They say this right here, or let me add this to it, is that try to avoid not having your table reads. Get your table reads, preferably in person. Book a place. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but go to your local library, book one of those rooms, do your table read in there. At the very least, do a table read at your house or do it over a Zoom call. Do something because you want people to actually interact. You want to see how they go through the script. This is them reading it. So you give them a little leeway in the reading, but you got to know and you got to understand that you need some actors that can carry the role if you're going to be giving them lead roles. Make sure they can carry it. Yeah, so those just a few things that came across my mind for you to try to avoid if you are an independent filmmaker working on a budget. If you have any questions, hit me up, leave a comment below, follow me on social media, send me a DM or something like that. You should see new products in my store, new hats, sweaters, t-shirts. Pick one up, grab it, represent for the independent filmmakers out there. And I guess I will check you out on the next video. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I'm trying to get to like 5,000 subscribers before the summer. And I hope to get to like 10,000, 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So thank you again for watching. All right.